So, hi Jake, how is this evening going? Welcome in.
Hi, I'm doing great, thank you.
Nice, good to know that. Could you introduce yourself to the community, please?
Sure. My name's Jake Lyons. I'm a GeoGuessr, quote unquote pro. I've got a YouTube channel with just under 5,000 subscribers, and an active member of the community, and glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, that is perfect. Very nice. As for the starting questions, just to break the ice, how long have you been playing for, like consistently?
Well, you say consistently, so probably somewhere around 3 years, maybe. I think around 3 years ago was probably the first time that I started to play GeoGuessr competitively, maybe 2.5 to 3 years. That's kind of around when I started recording videos. So probably 3 years, because I played Battle Royale and stuff for a long time without recording, just to get better at the game. And then once I was decent at the game, started getting into tournaments and things, and figured may as well record myself while doing it. And then ever since then, it's been basically nonstop.
Right. So, since the COVID time, I assume, since you said 3 years, right?
Pretty much, yep.
Yeah, so COVID got a lot of people into GeoGuessr, I guess.
Definitely.
Okay, so here comes the interesting question. Okay, we've got the boring questions out of the way. We know who you are now. Let's go. Could you name a few players whom you saw as a beginner, maybe during the COVID times, who was so good that you were motivated to become as good as them at the beginning?
So, I feel like I should at least give a shout out to GeoWizard, but I think the first time I discovered GeoWizard was well before the time that I mentioned. It was several years before that, when I was in high school, and I discovered his YouTube channel and saw him and was like, wow, like, it is possible to get really good at this game. That's something I'd be interested in doing. But then the game went behind a paywall, and I kind of stopped playing for like a couple of years after that. During COVID, I don't think I watched a lot of like content at that point, but I would say the couple players that I was aware of, I think Geography Challenges is definitely one of the first people that I discovered and watched, and I saw his stuff and I was like, wow, he's insane. I think I also saw a couple videos from Radu RC. So I think those two probably, especially during the pandemic, were kind of the two that I was most watching and realizing, wow, you can get really good at this game, and I'd be interested in doing that.
Okay, so GC and RC, huh?
Yeah.
The iconic duo.
Legends themselves, yeah.
Legends themselves, for sure. Yeah, so now that we're talking about them, like, let's dive deep, right? So GC has been one guy who's been going on for so long. He's so damn consistent, and he's still going. Like, how crazy is that? Like, just imagine.
Yeah, it is amazing, yeah.
The amount of consistency that man brings to the community is mind-blowing.
And he's just such a
And
great
then-
guy too. He's just awesome all around.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like the sweetest guy you'll ever meet in the community.
Absolutely.
And that's without a doubt. And speaking of RC, I mean, what can we say about RC? I don't think we can say anything about RC. He's just the GOAT, bro.
he's unbelievably good. And also, that's the thing. It's like, I think of pretty much any of the top players in this community, and I think, okay, yeah, not only are they an amazing player, but they're just good people, and they're wonderful people to just talk to and hang out with. Like, GC and RC are some of the nicest people I've ever met, and it's such a pleasure and an honor to be able to know them.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Okay, good to know. Next up, this might be a bit of a weird one, but what do people around you, like your friends and family, think about you being a GeoPro? Do they even know it, or what's the situation there?
Yeah, I'd say they do know about it, because I tell them. But honestly, it's a really fun talking point with people, because I feel like if I was a pro at pretty much anything else, like any other video game, like, I don't know, if I was good at like Rocket League or CSGO or something, and I played those games competitively, it's not really the same. You can't walk up to like an old family member and be like, oh, I play professional car soccer with it's not really the same. They're like, okay, cool, but they don't really know or care what that is. But when I tell people that I play GeoGuessr, like, quote unquote professionally, and that I basically am a pro at finding where I am in the world. That fascinates everyone. Like that's interesting to pretty much no matter who you tell. So it's like a super interesting thing. So I've got older family members, like grandparents and stuff, who are like super fascinated and like sometimes watch the content, and that's super cool to me because I can reach kind of a wide range of people. And I also have a job where I do math tutoring, and a lot of my students are high schoolers, and some of them have heard of GeoGuessr, so I can tell them about it and they're just as excited. Everyone kind of knows what GeoGuessr is, and they find the skill to be like a super interesting and impressive thing, so I love it.
Wow, I loved hearing that. You know what the best part of that was? The car soccer game, bro. I laughed like anything. That was so good. Okay. But no, I know. In all seriousness, it's very good to know that your friends and family are supportive. Because I've heard in certain situations, like people are just so scared to tell their family members about the game that they're good at, that they just keep it to themselves for years and years, and that eventually takes a toll on them too. So
yeah,
it's good to know that you share it well with them.
And maybe I'd be like that with other games, but with GeoGuessr, it's like I know people are going to find it interesting, so I have no problem telling people.
Yeah, it is quite a universal game in that sense, isn't it? Because everyone knows about Google, everyone knows about Google Maps, and hence figuring out the world, everything just makes sense in that aspect. So
yep, everyone understands it for sure.
Okay, now this one is I think I know the answer to this, but I'll still ask you anyway for the audience. What would you consider to be your best GeoGuessr guess/game? Is there a specific one?
Oh, you say guess/game. I think if we're including game in there, I think the answer has to be the game where I reached number one in the global leaderboard, and it was to be fair, it wasn't just a great game because it was the game where I reached number one, but it was also a great game because it was one of the better games I've ever played. It was a duel against Fungus, who was at the time the world number one, and I basically flawlessed him. Like I got the city almost every round, so it was like one of the most satisfying games I've ever played, and obviously just because of what it meant, it was everything. So that was awesome.
Yeah, so just so people know, Jake became number one a while ago. I'll put the video in description and on screen if you want to watch that video. It is definitely one of the better GeoGuessr videos on YouTube. Please go watch that. That was such a legendary video.
Thank you. It was awesome. Yeah, the way it came together was fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Do you travel a lot?
Not as much as I'd like to. I think I was lucky enough that I was able to travel a good amount when I was younger with my parents and my family. So I've been to like 20-something countries, which is pretty cool. These days, though, I don't travel very much at all because, it's to the point where my parents don't necessarily feel comfortable just taking me on trips all the time because it's to the point where I kind of have to earn it and figure life out myself. And it's still kind of just a transitional period where I'm working a job, I'm working at YouTube. It pays a little bit, but it's like, it's not enough that I can just afford to go wherever I want, whenever I want. But I'm working towards that goal, and travel is one of the things that makes me the happiest of anything in life. So as soon as I'm in a situation where I can afford to travel more, I absolutely will travel more.
Okay, that's the spirit. Let's go. You mentioned you've traveled about 20 countries, maybe during your childhood, and I'm assuming we're counting Paris there as well for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Which place would you say did you enjoy the most? Which country did you enjoy the most? Or city even?
That's such a tough question because they're so different. It's like really hard to compare. All in all, I think probably Italy was my favorite. We did around a 2-week trip in Italy, probably 5 years ago or something. And it was amazing. I mean, we went to Rome, and Rome is so extraordinary just because of all the history and all the landmarks and all that stuff. And we went to Tuscany with more of a like rural area, and we had a day where we like rode through the countryside on Vespas, and then we went up to Venice and we saw Como and stuff. Just the scenery, the people, the food. I mean, Italy is just such an amazing country, but I feel like I'm selling a lot of the other countries short because pretty much any country I've been to, I can say amazing things about. The world is just so wonderful to see, and I'd love to see more of it.
Yeah, and that's the inner GeoGuessr player speaking from your end, isn't it? The world
Absolutely.
is a beautiful place. Every single country is beautiful as long as you can find the great regions, am I right?
Absolutely.
So, there you go. Okay, now we'll take a pause from the questions and we'll insert a quiz segment here, okay? So you have to be quick with your
Oh
answers
boy.
here. And
Okay.
I'll ask you about 5 questions, and this segment is called How Well Do You Know Your Stats? So,
Oh
here we go.
God. Oh no.
Question number 1, Jake. Question number 1. How many subs do you have as of this moment on YouTube?
4,750.
Boom, let's go 1-on-1. How many videos have you posted as of this moment on YouTube?
That I don't know. 412.
Close, 360.
Okay.
What's your best performing video and how many views does it have?
My best performing video is. Can I name the largest European city in each grid square? I think is roughly the title, and I'd say it has around 90,000 views as of now.
I'll give you that. It's 89K. I'll give you that.
Okay.
What's your worst performing video and how many views does this one?
Oh my God. I have no
It was
idea.
taking a while
It has
to
to be
find.
one of my really early ones. For maybe one of my season 3 Reddit League videos, something like maybe the Italy Reddit League video, season 3 week 7, I think it was, and I'm guessing it has around 50 views, but I don't know.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you it for the views, but the video was wrong.
Okay.
The video is actually USA Holiday Double Tournament quarterfinals versus Paul Voltaire.
Wow.
It's on 46 views.
Okay.
So I'll give you that one. I'll give you that
Okay.
one. That was a very tough one.
That's a hard one,
Okay.
yeah.
On what date was the Jake Lyons channel created? Like the actual account itself.
The actual account? Oh no. I have no idea. I mean, it's
Yes.
kind of old. Jesus.
Okay, maybe take a guess on like the year, if not the date or month.
Uh-huh. What in the world? 2015. I don't know.
Very close, but I can't give you that one. It's 2014.
Okay.
But good
I
guess.
tried.
Good guess. Good guess. Okay. Now that the quiz segment is over, let's get back to the chill discussion
Sounds good.
and talk about stuff. Please don't get weirded out by this next question, okay?
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it interesting, so hear me out. Have you ever had a dream about a Geoguessr community member? If so, can you share what it was?
Okay, so this is annoying because I hear about people. I've heard other community members share insane dreams that they've had about Geoguessr community members. However, fun fact about me, I never remember my dreams, or it's extremely rare. So maybe once a year, once every 6 months or something, I'll wake up and I'll remember some significant portion of a dream, but it's extremely rare. Most of the time I remember nothing when I wake up. So unfortunately, my answer is no.
All right, we'll take that. Is there a player or a set of players that you think are good at the game, but if they started putting in the effort, they could potentially be a top 10 player of all time?
Not really sure about this one. I mean, there are. I don't know, because I feel like 99% of being great at GeoGuessr is just the time that you put in. I think there are people who have like innate cognitive abilities that are like I don't know what Blinky has in his brain, but he has something that the rest of us don't have, I think. But honestly, it's hard to say for me because I feel like a lot of the players I can think of, it's just like they're good because they put time in, they put hours in, they've studied certain countries, they've played a bunch of games, and I think maybe this is kind of a boring answer, but I just think pretty much anyone who puts enough effort into the game can become great at the game. But it's all about that. In my opinion, 99% of it is just the work that you put in.
Yeah, and no, that is definitely not a boring answer. I just wanted your opinion on that, and there's your opinion. I appreciate that very much. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, then let's move on to the next one. Sure. What, according to you, is the single most legendary moment in the Geoguessr community?
Wow. That's a wow. That's a hard one. I'm not sure I really have much. I mean, the thing that I'm currently thinking of is like maybe just the moment that Blinky, Kodiak, and Macam won the Paris tournament, and it's legendary because it's just such a big step in the community to have that sort of first ever IRL tournament, and it kind of paves the way for the future of GeoGuessr when it comes to IRL tournaments and as an esport. So I think that tournament was kind of a groundbreaking thing. And I don't think the moment that they won the tournament was necessarily like super huge or hype or whatever, but I think just the like symbolism of that moment, I think just means a lot for the game. And I wish that I could think of a better answer for this, but at the moment nothing's really coming to my mind.
I mean, I think I agree. That was like a very, very, very solid moment in the community. Like,
Yeah.
you can't deny how much that moment is going to influence GeoGuessr in the future.
Right.
Like, we already have the GeoGuessr World Cup,
Of
so
course.
that says enough, I think.
Yep.
That says enough. And I guess the fact that a lot of people got to meet each other for the first time ever too contributed a lot to that moment. Like, that entire World Cup saga, as I would like to call it.
That experience was surreal, like extraordinary. It was, I mean, like I said, so many of the people in this community are just wonderful, amazing people, and being able to meet them all for the first time at once was like overwhelming. It was crazy. So like, absolutely, like that entire World Cup. I guess if we use the word moment, I guess maybe the moment that they won or whatever, but just like if we're talking more broadly, the entire World Cup, that entire few days was just unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, addressing the elephant in the room, Jake. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
What are your thoughts on the new avatar shop, creator bundles, creator codes, etc.?
I mean, like, I do like what they're trying to do with sort of the idea of the creator merchandise and being able to support your favorite creators. That's, I think, a good thing. I mean, I don't need to get into how I feel about the avatars themselves. I think that whole thing is just a bit silly, and we've said it a million times, but a lot of us would just prefer that they focus on the gameplay aspect of the game rather than that stuff, because most of the serious player base does not really care about all the customization stuff. But in terms of the idea of having a creator themed shop and having merchandise for like the World Cup players, and people can choose to support certain creators, I do think that's a good thing, and I'm glad that they're at least taking it in that direction. So props to them for that side of it.
Yeah, true. So the thing is, as much as we prefer profile pictures over avatars, as I would say, a lot of the pros do. The avatars are a double-edged sword, as you correctly mentioned. We don't really care about avatars, but the fact that they've used avatars to support their creators is a big step.
Yeah, I agree with that, for sure.
Yeah,
it's not
that's
all
the
bad.
way we should take it, I think, because we already have so many bad updates. We can take this one in a good way, I think. So
yeah, and at the end of the day, the avatars, even if we don't like the way they look or whatever, they don't actually affect the gameplay or anything like that. So it's not really a huge deal.
They don't affect the gameplay at all. So I think we should be fine with it overall, I think. Yeah. Let's talk about the World Cup. I've got a few questions.
God, I've got a spider in my room, good lord. Dude is
wow.
moving fast down the wall. Okay, just try and keep an eye on it. Anyway.
That's hilarious. Okay. So what are your first general thoughts on the World Cup itself?
It's awesome. Like, I think that, first of all, it's so cool that they're doing this, and it's just so hype in general. But I think the fact that there are 24 players, I think, is a little unfortunate, because there are definitely more than 24 players who deserve a spot. But beyond that, it's great that they're organizing it. and I have to say I'm impressed with the pool of players that they've chosen so far. I mean, besides me feeling a bit of imposter syndrome, feeling like I maybe didn't deserve to be invited, I do feel like pretty much everyone in the player pool did deserve to be invited, and there are a lot of super quality players in there, and I'm just really excited for it in general, and I think it's going to get a lot of hype, and the idea that like the fact that Rainbolt is casting and all of that is like super exciting. So generally, I can't wait for the event. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for the event either. And please do not feel that imposter syndrome. Like, you have grinded this game so much
That's
that you're
true.
at that position where no one minds you being there. So just keep
Yeah.
that in mind.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. What was your family's reaction to the World Cup news?
Oh, they were real happy. I
They were
mean,
happy,
I
okay.
said, yeah, I mentioned that I, talked to like grandparents and stuff about GeoGuessr as well, but my parents as well. I mean, I see them all the time. Well, I mean, I still live with them, but they generally are super supportive of the whole thing, and I'm super, super grateful for that, because it's, again, like I said, it's kind of a transitional period in my life, and it's like I have a job, but it's like part-time, and it's still, things are still kind of up in the air. So the fact that generally they're just supportive of the GeoGuessr stuff, and they see how far I've come, and they really sort of can appreciate that, and understand that is awesome. So that being said, when I told them about the World Cup, they were, I mean, over the moon. And it's just really happy to, it's really wonderful to sort of get that reaction from them. So I was actually away from home at the time, but I FaceTimed them, and it was a really fun call. So yeah, they were thrilled to hear about it.
That is so wholesome. I love that. Have you been to Sweden before, by the way? Or is this going to be your first time?
Never. First time.
Let's go. Let's make that 21. Number of countries visited. Let's go.
Yeah. I think
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
currently at like 25
Mhm.
or 26
Yeah.
or something, but yeah, not that it really matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but good to know. What would you say is your dream GeoGuessr collab? It could be a live stream, it could be a YouTube video.
Are you saying me collaborating with someone else, or just two other people collaborating with each other?
You can answer both, sure.
Okay. Oh God, I haven't really thought about this. Because I feel like a lot of the sort of major collabs have been done. I think the one player who is notably missing from pretty much any collab video ever is, of course, GeoWizard. I think it would be great if at some point he got back more involved with the community. So a collab between him and like Rainbolt or something would be really cool to see, just because they're two just absolute legends and super well-known people, and that would be a really cool crossover. And in terms of me collaborating with someone, again, I feel like honestly at this point I feel like I've done collab videos with like most people, so probably I would just say GeoWizard as well, because he'd just be a cool guy to meet.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people in the community right now haven't interacted with him.
Mhm.
Because the wave of players before us, maybe, like in 2020, 2021,
Yes.
the guys who were like up top, they got to interact with him a lot, but
Yep.
the players during our time haven't really interacted
I
with
was
him.
a little
So,
bit
it
too
would
late,
be,
yeah.
it would be very, very cool to like see a collab of GeoGuessr with someone in our space, that would be amazing.
It would be really nice if he came
Definitely.
back in some capacity and just interacted with some of us, because yeah.
Yeah, that would be incredible. Yeah, and as for a GeoWizard Rainbolt collab, I think that would break the internet. I'm not even lying.
I think it would. That would be fantastic.
That would be such an incredible moment too. Maybe we can add that to the single most legendary moment in the community too. At that.
Oh yeah.
You never
That would
know.
be up there for sure.
Yeah. You mentioned stuff about doing YouTube part time,
Mhm.
and what would you say are your like goals for YouTube in the future? Like, is there something something specific you've got in mind?
Not anything really specific. At this point, it's kind of a nice side gig, make a little money off of it. Like, it's been fun for me. But of course, it's still, I still consider it just kind of a small side thing. But my mentality right now is kind of just to see where it goes. Keep making videos. I still like doing it, and just see if it continues to grow. And if it does, I'd be totally open to the idea of making it a full-time thing if that ever became viable. And if it kind of fizzles out, that's fine too. Like, I'm doing other stuff. So yeah, for me, basically, I just do it because it's fun and it's a really cool hobby, and definitely open to the idea of like actually being like a full-time creator if it ever got to that point. But I'm just gonna, ride the wave and see where it goes.
That's good. That's good. It's usually not very often that you hear someone successful say that they don't enjoy making videos.
Right.
So I'm glad that you say that you're enjoying making videos. That means you're yet to go a long way.
Absolutely.
That's good to know.
Honestly, the people that I meet and the interactions that I have as a result of it are like the best part. Like, there's so many awesome people that I've met as a result of this that it never would have happened. I mean, like the World Cup, for example. Like, even if I did everything that I've done up to this point, but I didn't make videos and I wasn't like popular, and I probably wouldn't be nearly as trustworthy because I'm not recording my stuff. I don't think I would have been invited to Sweden if I didn't have a YouTube channel, like, to be completely honest. So like it's definitely, it's taken me places already, and yeah, it's awesome.
Right. Should we stir up some drama now? What do you think?
Oh, let's go. Sure.
The fact that you mentioned that you've had a lot of collabs, like, of course, we all have had most of our collabs because we are like a closely knit community
Yes.
of even content creators, if not the entire community itself.
Yes.
Which creator did you not enjoy collaborating with?
Wow. Oh my. What?
You can choose to. You can definitely choose to not answer that, but I'm just saying it's a question.
Wow. I'm not sure I do have an answer. I mean, I can't really think back on a time when I've done a GeoGuessr video with somebody and come out of it thinking that I didn't like it or I didn't like them. Just speaks to how great this community is as a whole, I guess. But I don't think I've really ever had a negative experience. So apologies for not having any drama to stir up, but I don't think I have an answer.
No, that's good. That's good that we don't have any drama. That is very good. Okay. So as we discussed before, you've filmed around 360 videos, right?
Yeah.
Is there any single one in mind? Okay, maybe except the reaching #1 video, which is like your favorite. Like, you enjoyed filming it, it got a great response and everything. Like, it was the perfect video. Is there any one of those in your mind?
So you're saying aside from the #1 video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh. There have been a few good ones. As I've done a few videos on my channel where I've done 25Ks on blank maps, so like no map labels. Now, I regret that I have not done that in a long time, and I've kind of derailed away from that. It does take a good deal of effort to make a video like that, but it's also really fun and like extremely satisfying. So yeah, I had a video where I did a blank map 25K speed run on an urban world, and I got like 7 minutes or something. I was pretty proud of that. I really enjoyed filming that video. So yeah, maybe that one. And I probably, if I thought for longer, I could think of a better answer than that. But that was a really fun video to film for me.
Yeah, that's great. And okay, would you agree? I've got this theory, right? Hear me out. The videos that we enjoy making the most, the audience doesn't like it that much. Do you agree with that? To some extent, at least.
Maybe, yeah. To some extent. It definitely applies to that video. I mean, I think people like the blank map stuff, but I think generally it doesn't get quite as much attention as just like me playing duels and stuff like that, which isn't always quite as satisfying to film. So I think there's definitely some truth to that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad we're on the same page there. Right. So Jake, we've come to the end, and I've just got one last question for
Okay.
you. What is your end goal with GeoGuessr?
My end goal. That's a big question. I think. Oh God, this spider's freaking me out. I think, just as I alluded to, with the sort of the idea of just like riding the wave of the YouTube channel and seeing how it goes. Like, at the end of the day, whatever I'm doing, I just want to be happy while I'm doing it. And GeoGuessr videos and the community just makes me happy. So my goal while doing this is just to make sure that I'm still happy doing it, no matter what I'm doing, and I guess to make the people around me and the people I collaborate with happy as well, and to make other people's days better with the content. At the end of the day, yeah, for me, what it boils down to is my goal is to be happy and to make other people happy, and that's the best part of it. So again, we'll see where it goes with YouTube and just generally with GeoGuessr, but yeah, as long as there's happiness in it, then I am all for it.
Amazing. Yeah, I think let's touch on this happiness part for a bit, because a lot of people, including me, have genuinely stopped enjoying playing the game in its natural way.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that as much as I love doing YouTube and as much as I love interacting with the community, sorry to make this about myself, by the way,
No,
but I think I
not
need
at
to
all.
get this. I need to get this out of my system now that we are on this topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as much as I love doing YouTube, Twitch, and interacting with the community, the game for me at its core is not fun anymore. And what that does is it takes me away from that satisfaction, that you get. Okay, so let's say you're good at any specific game. We'll pick up Rocket League again, right?
Yep.
If you enjoy it, you're gonna make videos about it, you're gonna stream it, you're gonna eventually improve at it, etc., etc. But the moment you stop enjoying that too, you can't really be doing that Twitch and YouTube the same way.
Mhm.
And the same goes for GeoGuessr too. So that's why I've been deviating my content
Yep.
more towards interaction with the community, more towards the slanders, the songs,
Yep.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, there's that. Just wanted to get that out of my system.
I completely see what you're saying, and I, to a large extent, completely agree with you that with how far the game has come, and with all the research and all the stuff that's being done now, it's so hardcore and it's so detailed and it's so just oriented towards basically gaining a competitive advantage in whatever way you can with whatever the heck it is, like seasonal metas and antennas and copyright dates and all that crap. And yeah, I don't find that stuff interesting to learn either. Like I'm trying to learn about the world, I'm trying to learn about landscapes, I'm trying to learn about architecture, whatever, but all that meta stuff, it really starts to get exhausting, and I'm starting to have to study it because I'm going to Sweden and I need to prepare for the tournament, and if I want to compete, I kind of just need to learn this stuff, or a lot of this stuff. But I'm starting to study it, and I'm realizing it's honestly not that fun, and I'm gonna keep doing it because I know that the end goal is such an exciting thing and something I'm excited to work towards. But I definitely see what you're saying with the game at its core not being quite as fun anymore, and I like to try and just keep like a positive kind of lighthearted attitude, and a lot of what I still do is just learning about just geography in general, and that always has made me happy, and that will continue to make me happy, just actually learning about the world. But yeah, I totally see what you're saying, and it is regrettable, but honestly, it wouldn't shock me if there comes a day when I feel way too overwhelmed by the amount of new information, and I just kind of decide to take a step back. Like, I stop trying to be at the very top of the game itself, and I start just kind of trying to play it more casually, because playing it casually is just what's more fun. But at that point, if I have a community that's large enough that supports me and just enjoys watching me play, that's kind of That's the most important part. So, even at the end, if there are a bunch of people way above me in terms of skill, and if the studying required to reach that level of skill is too boring or too uninteresting to me, I might just stop and instead just, make the videos and the streams that I enjoy making and interact with the people that I enjoy interacting with, and then just, play the game that way. So I do hope that I will stick with the game in some capacity for, all of the foreseeable future. But basically, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's literally me right now. Like,
Yeah.
just stepping back from everything, enjoying what I enjoy doing. See, I'm a bit of a talker. Okay, I like to talk. I like to interact with people. That's the reason I came on the internet in the first place.
Mhm.
If you in case you didn't know, I was not on the internet before 2020.
Wow.
Just for reference.
Okay.
Yes, and I did not think I was going to be on the internet even then,
Yeah.
when I had almost crossed my teenage at that time.
Yeah.
And the reason I came on and I chose GeoGuessr was I remember the first day I ever played GeoGuessr,
Mhm.
and I was so mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
And I think that is the reason why everyone starts playing, because you see different locations in the world. You're like, okay, this is beautiful. I want to know more about this. Like,
Yes.
that's the core reason everyone starts playing, believe it or not.
Right.
People say, oh, we watched an XYZ video. But if you play it once, that is when you're hooked to the game, not because of the videos themselves, I think. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion.
Mhm. Totally.
And so the reason I came onto the internet and I stuck with GeoGuessr was, again, as I said, because of the community itself. The community was so damn good. Everyone was so welcoming,
Mhm.
so supportive. Like, I'll give you an example of what happened with me. So I started streaming on YouTube in June 2021, I think.
Yep.
Or May 2021, I don't remember. And I switched over to Twitch in either end of June or beginning of July. So, like, this is literally my 2-year anniversary on Twitch right now.
Yep.
At this moment of time. And on the third day itself, I got a raid from a streamer known as Better Times, who was like a top 5 streamer on GeoGuessr at that time.
Yeah.
And that time GeoGuessr was popping. Like, GeoGuessr was getting views at that time.
Yes.
Because of the whole Battle Royale thing coming out, and then the one tournament and all that kind of hype was there around it.
Right.
And the most surprising thing that I found was that GeoPeter was in that raid and he followed me. And that completely blew my mind. Like, this community, the biggest guy in the community is following me on day 3 of my shitty stream.
Yeah.
Like, that has to mean something.
Yeah.
Right? So this community was definitely very, very welcoming, and that's why I stuck with it. There's my take on it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. It's so much of why it's just wonderful to be in this community every day is just because of how amazing all the people are. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why I'm still able to do this stuff, even though I don't enjoy the game. Because I have a set of people who like me and who like interacting with me.
Yep.
That is the only reason I'm still able to go. In every other community, if you stop playing the game, you're done, right? Just
Yep.
think about it.
Yep.
Boom, you're gone. Whew. Oh boy, that was somewhat intense. Did not want it to be that way, but there you go. Can you spill some tea about how you're preparing for the World Cup?
I feel like I haven't really kicked it into like full gear yet, but I'm mostly just going to kind of take it country by country and just kind of hard study certain countries on whatever sort of resources are out there, documents or anything along those lines. And yeah, I feel like I'm just going to practice countries until I reach the point where I feel like I'm decently good at this country and I can sort of pull my weight. I don't need to be the best in the world at a certain country, but I don't want to have countries where I feel like, oh my god, I'm complete crap at this country. It's total roulette. Like I need to try and avoid that. And I might, for certain countries that have less documentation, I might hit up certain good players and be like, could we play a few games together? Give me a few tips, that kind of thing. But I think a lot of it is just going to be looking at existing documentation and just trying to sort of deep learn that stuff. As meta intensive as some of it might be, it's kind of just a necessary evil.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good. Like, that's a pretty solid way to go about it. Just go country by country, and if you feel you're bad at something, you always have people to help out. Like, no one ever says no. That's the best part of this community.
Exactly.
Jake, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for sparing time and doing this. I appreciate you a lot. And yes, I will keep Jake's links in the description in case you didn't know him. Go subscribe to him, go follow him on Twitch as well. And I will see you in the next episode of the GeoPro Show. Bye bye.
Thanks so much.